Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Well, Alexander Povetkin, Russian heavyweight Olympian, his B sample was open. It was supposed to be open in January, but they pushed it back to February, and his B sample was flagged once again for a violation, and it contained the Ostarine that the first A sample had. So I want to talk about this, and bottom line is, it looks like this has been the case, Alexander Povetkin was not content fighting on an even playing field, both in the Deontay Wilder and Bermane Stiverne fight. And that's what all the evidence points to. Now, I told you guys that 2017 was not going to be friendly for some of you guys. It was almost a continuation of 2016, which wasn't a good year for some of you guys. And it all goes down to Will Smith and concussion. I told you, tell the truth. Tell the truth. If you don't tell the truth, then you're up shit's creek without a paddle. And when the Wilder situation, Wilder was going to go to Russia, and as a champion, because they won the purse bid, the Russian promoter, World of Boxing, is going to go fight his mandatory Alexander Povetkin. He had accused him of doping without any evidence. He just said, I don't know, something sounds fishy. He gets all the way over. I think he was in the UK at the time. I don't know if he was actually in Russia, but his next stop was Russia. He was going to go fight, and bow, fight canceled. Fight initially postponed. There's some delay, and it's revealed that Alexander Povetkin tested positive for meldonium, which is a Russian drug made in Russian pharmacies that was recently banned, right? And this particular situation is unique. I have never seen anything like this in boxing, right? And based on a recent ban, the meldonium drug was just banned in January 2016. Let's say this happened in the summertime around May. So the WBC, they send Wilder on his way. He later comes back home, fights Chris Arreola. He's like, man, I didn't just do a training camp for no reason. So he gets flack for fighting Chris Arreola, which is totally not his fault, right? Because he was willing to fight the guy he was supposed to fight, but that guy didn't pass his drug test. And yet and still, some of you guys still made excuses. Like, oh, it was just this small trace element amount. He took it before. Like, first of all, how can you say unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, what someone else did unless you're affiliated with that party or in Russia or part of that training camp? But some of y'all making videos, I've seen articles, all types of comments, and they're acting like they're in the know. No, Povetkin, ridiculous, bullshit video, Ego. Povetkin, he ingested that before the ban. Like, how would you know, right? All I know is he had something in his system that he shouldn't have had, and it did not look favorable. It didn't look earnest. It didn't look like an honest mistake. Because again, if you did that before the ban, there's two questions, big questions that I have with the meldonium situation that have never been addressed. One, if you know you took something that this tennis player took and got banned, Sharapov or whatever her name is, right? And that was a high profile case, and you know the drug was recently banned and you used to be on it, why would you not declare that to VADA, right? Why wouldn't you tell them, like, hey, I'm on this, or I used to be on this and I'm no longer taking it, right? And then once you declare it, now you've already informed them, so whatever they do next, you told them, as opposed to them telling you, hey, we got your test back, guess what? It was flagged with this, you're positive for this. That makes it look way worse, because in one scenario, you're acknowledging it and you know this drug is now banned and you used to be on it. So you're just, hey, FYI, VADA, I used to be on this, right? But they didn't do that. They allowed VADA to out them instead of them outing themselves. So one, you got to treat this like a court case. You have to establish character. So to me, that is fishy. That is fishy that you wouldn't declare something like that. Like, Here's a boxing example. Robert Guerrero, when he was going to fight Floyd Mayweather, he was in New York and he had a pistol on him. Him and his father have registered, carried and concealed guns or whatever the situation was, but he had a legal firearm that he went to the airport and he declared, hey, I got this gun. It's packed away. It's in this particular luggage, or it's in this gun case or whatever. And they still arrested him because New York has a whole different set of laws, like the RICO law and all kinds of stuff. He was at the JFK airport or wherever. They weren't feeling it. They weren't having it. They have their own rules or whatever. So they arrested him in the build up to the Floyd Mayweather fight. It was a big headline, right? But you see, in Robert Guerrero's case, he had nothing. He wasn't doing dirt. He had a gun that he believed he was legally able to transport or to travel with, right? It was a legal firearm. It wasn't like a pistol that he got on the block with the serial scratched off or something, you know what I mean, that had bodies on it, and then they caught him up. He declared it. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. Robert Guerrero declared that he had the weapon. He didn't just go to security through the TSA and they're like, hey, there's a gun in there, and then he's just like, oh, hey. He declared that he had the gun. So to me, it's fishy that Povetkin, knowing that this is a Russian drug, this is not something they're really readily making that I know of in Australia or the States, this meldonium stuff. So why would you not declare it? Why would you not tell VADA, hey, I'm on this and it was just banned 5 months ago, so just in case there's anything that shows up? Because to me, that shows there's a stronger chance that you didn't think you would get caught. It's also concerning that you pass certain tests and then dates after that you fail those tests. So to me, that looks like you're cycling it in at some point, because if you had trace elements, why didn't you have trace elements shown in the previous test? Like, let's say if you take a test you pass your May 1st, May 2nd, and May 3rd test, but then you fail your May 5th test, and then you pass your May 7th and May 14th test. That's weird, right? So that sounds like you're currently still on that, because you're cycling it in, and certain tests are producing it and other ones aren't, right? Versus if you just took it last in 2015 and you had trace elements in it. Plus, most drugs don't stay in your system like a full 5 months to a year and all this. But again, that's one issue. You did not declare it yourself. You waited till VADA busted you. And my second question with the whole meldonium situation is, why was he on meldonium? Like the tennis player Maria Sharapova or whatever, she had a history of like chronic migraines and all this and that, and she was unable to perform her duties as a tennis player, so a doctor prescribed that. Why was Povetkin? I've never seen anybody produce doctor's records or whatever stating why he was on it. Like, she had a history of like whatever, like aneurysms or whatever. I don't know all the clinical stuff that she had going on, but I did read about it. The Sharapova lady that was on meldonium, she got prescribed that from a doctor. I've never seen any indication of why Povetkin was on it to begin with. So that's also concerning. And I've never seen this, based on the inconclusiveness of the test and not being able to pinpoint an actual month or date where Povetkin ingested it and it was a recent ban. He fell into this gray area where the WBC couldn't condemn him. They couldn't prove either way without a shadow of a doubt, which is important, because I mean, that's someone's career. You can't say a date. It's just like, if you guys watch any kind of murder mysteries, forensic files, or anything like that, you guys will know this. A lot of times they know who the killer is, or they have a very good indication is, but they don't have anything solid enough to pin the whole murder on them. And if you try to pin a murder on somebody and your evidence is floozy and you don't have like a complete case or something compelling enough to say, hey, without a shadow of a doubt, we have DNA evidence, we have your skin tissue under that person's fingernail as a defensive wound, etc., then a lot of times they'll collect more. They'll just keep it on ice until they have enough evidence to show what they suggest, because you can't just go off of circumstantial evidence. So Povetkin fell under that with the meldonium. WBC couldn't say exactly when he took it, so They couldn't prove yay or nay. And a lot of people thought that was vindication for Povetkin. That doesn't mean he's innocent. It just means they can't prove it, which happens in the court of law all the time. I mean, a lot of people think O.J. Simpson killed Ron Goldman and Nicole Simpson, or at least know who did it or hired somebody or whatever, right? Just because he walked away from that and didn't get charged with it doesn't mean he had nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? It just means they couldn't prove it, or the jury didn't find him guilty. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he beat the case, right? I've never seen anything like this. Beat the case. And the WBC puts up a little hurdle saying, okay, you beat the case. We can't pin this on you. So you fight an eliminator with the other high-ranking heavyweight, Bermane Stiverne. The winner of this fight, Povetkin Stiverne, they get to fight Wilder. They're the mandatory, right? Once again, World of Boxing has money. Russian promoter, Povetkin's promoter. They put up a lot of money in the purse bid, win it, make Bermane Stiverne, a Don King fighter, come over to Russia. That's where we choose to stage it. We secured the fight. We won those rights. Bermane Stiverne's like, okay, I'll fight Povetkin. They did a weigh-in, and then all of a sudden, he fails another drug test for a separate drug. It's just like, you ever see like World's Dumbest Criminals, and they just do crazy stuff like try to rob a bank and lock themselves in some kind of way, you know what I mean? In the vault or something stupid. That's what this reminds me of. It's like, how do you, like Friday, man, how the hell you get fired on your day off? Huh? Like, how do you beat the case? Just like Snoop Dogg, he got tried for murder, for all my hip hop heads. Got tried for murder. Murder was the case that they gave me. Right? That's like him getting another murder case that same year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know lightning doesn't strike two places at one time. Like, you know what I mean? Lady Luck is not going to be on your side that many times. So it's like, you, in the same year, you fail another drug test for something different. So, I mean, this has to show something. And like I said, for all the people who are defending Povetkin, tell the truth. It's that simple. There is no justification, because now what do you do? And Povetkin's promoter, he looks kind of snaky because he's tweeting and trying to save face. That's not going to matter. He failed another drug test for a separate drug. So, okay, the Meldonian had the ban that was recently banned and all that. So why are you on Ostarine, which is something that other athletes fail for all the time in boxing, right? And this is the tweet that he put up. Povetkin sample on December 6th has only 0.00001 gram of Ostarine. November 15th and December 13th samples are clean. So, what does that have to do with it? I mean, like, who cares if it's a microscopic amount, a nanogram, a Pikachu? He still has it in his system. Why does he have it in his system? That is the big question here. Why does he have all these random drugs that are used and known for enhancing stamina, energy, or steroids or whatever, PEDs, banned shit? You know what I mean? If Vada came to my crib right now and started making me urinate in a little vial or whatever and take blood tests, I'm not going to have what Tyson Fury had in his system. I'm not going to have cocaine in my system. I'm not going to have Meldonian. I'm not going to have Ostarine in my system. They might find Starbucks, maybe some Mountain Dew. I don't know if you can trace those things, but that's what I had today, right? But they're not going to find Ostarine and Meldonium and cocaine and heroin, all kinds of stuff in my system, because I don't put that in my body, right? So it's just looking bad, man. And I told you guys, you got to start new media, man. You guys got to start telling the truth. A lot of you guys try to fabricate, like somehow flipped it to make it like Deontay Wilder is the bad guy in the situation because another guy doesn't fail a drug test, and then he later fails another drug test for another drug, and then now Deontay Wilder's newest opponent fails a drug test, right? Y'all got to start watching who you pointing the finger at. People are, oh, Wilder, I don't know, something suspicious of him. But all his opponents are the ones failing the drug test. Now, I'm not saying who's on drugs and who's not, because I don't know. Clearly, you can't just look people. But it's funny to me that people say, oh, Wilder's on drugs. Errol Spence, look at his physique. Errol Spence Jr., he's on steroids, right? Why they got to be on steroids, but they keep passing tests? Why don't you wait for the facts to come out before you condemn those fighters. And then it's never the people that those people are saying, you know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not saying who's on steroids because I don't know, because I'm not in their camps and stuff like that. I'm sure there's a lot of people who maybe circumvent or get around the test, but wait for the facts to come out. Povetkin keeps getting busted. He keeps popping dirty with different stuff in his system. That's not normal. And it's not normal. You could say, oh, he passed November 15th and it's December 13th. Okay, why did he fail the December 6th one? You know what I'm saying? And then he's passed. There's something's not right with that equation, right? It's just like, nobody's stupid. Like, let's say there's a teacher and this kid's a known like fuck up or flunky, and all of his tests are F's, and then he starts sitting by a smart student and all of a sudden he has A+ and he's getting 100% on his tests. And then the day that other kid is absent, then he's back to failing his test. Okay, maybe this kid is cheating some kind of way. Maybe, you know what I mean, you put him in a room by himself and take that same test and he's getting an F, but then you put him next to this genius and then all of a sudden he's getting A+ on his test. He's probably fucking copying from the other kid. Copying on his chest or having him do it or something. But it doesn't make sense that you would pass certain dates and then fail other dates and then have all these different things in your system. Like, you know what I mean? This is not like a circus or fun house where you should just have all these random drugs in your system. And again, I've never seen anything like this with the same fighter in the same year. Most people, can you picture Antonio Margarito even? Let's say he gets busted for the loaded wraps versus Mosley, and then let's say he fights Pacquiao next, and then they bust him for loaded wraps again. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And that shows some balls. That shows some audacity, pause, that you think you could get away with it and that you barely got past the Meldonium case. You know what I mean? It was like all lies. The spot was hot. That, to me, that shows a lack of respect. You really think you could beat the system or cheat the system if you're doing all that? Because even like, let's say hypothetically, because there's a lot of fighters that they pop for something and they say, oh, I didn't know it's in the meat, contaminated meat. Then they're gonna at least, since, like, let's say they didn't do it the first time, it really was contaminated meat, they're going to be very conscious of what goes into their body after that fact. You know what I'm saying? But you got guys like Povetkin, Lucas Brown, failing multiple tests. That has to tell you something. Let me know what you think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.